Welcome to the Flag Bearer channel. This is Little Known Black History Facts. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Queen Nanny of the Maroons, National Hero of Jamaica. It is not a coincidence that most, if not all, African Americans has or have a grandmother that they have called Nana. Amongst the Akan clans of Ghana, the word Nana generally denotes social eminence derived from either nobility or advanced age. Nana is also used as a title of a monarch to signify their status. One of the most famous Nanas was Nanny of the Maroons, who is a national hero of Jamaica. Nana Obia, Queen Nanny, was born in 1686 in Ghana, West Africa, into the Ashanti tribe, and was brought to Jamaica as a slave. Upon arrival in Jamaica, Nanny was likely sold to a plantation in St. Thomas Parish, just outside of the Port Royal area. Such plantations grew sugarcane as the main crop, and the slaves toiled under extremely harsh conditions. Sugarcane cultivation became an important activity after the British took control of the island of Jamaica. Under the British plantation system, the island became a major producer and leading exporter of sugar in the world. New slaves from Africa, mainly Fante, Ashanti, Coromante, Igbo, and Yoruba people, were continually imprisoned and shipped over from Africa, then put to work on the sugar plantations in appalling conditions. The slaves would have to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work in the fields until sunset. A worker could yield thousands of pounds of raw crop a day. Slaves were burnt, strangled, and otherwise tortured to terrorize them into obedience. As a child, Nanny was influenced by other slave leaders and Maroons. Maroons were slaves in the Americas who escaped and formed independent settlements. Nanny and her 4 brothers, all of whom became Maroon leaders, were sold into slavery and later escaped from their plantations into the mountains and jungles that still make up a large proportion of Jamaica. Nanny and 1 brother founded a village in the Blue Mountains on the eastern side of Jamaica, which became known as Nanny Town. While in hiding, they split up to organize more Maroon communities across Jamaica. Nanny and her brothers became folk heroes. Her most famous brother, Cudjoe, went on to lead several slave rebellions in Jamaica with the aid of her other brothers. Nanny Town had a strategic location as it overlooked Stony River via a 900-foot ridge, making a surprise attack by the British practically impossible. The Maroons at Nanny Town also organized lookouts for such an attack, as well as designated warriors who could be summoned by the sound of a horn. Maroons at Nanny Town and similar communities survived by sending traders to the nearby market towns to exchange food for weapons and cloth. The community raised animals, hunted and grew crops, and was organized very much like a typical Ashanti tribe in Africa. The Maroons were also known for raiding plantations for weapons and food, burning the plantations, and leading slaves back to their community. Nanny Town, placed as it was in the mountains away from European settlements, it was difficult to assault. It thrived. Nanny limited her attacks on plantations and European settlements and preferred instead to farm and trade peacefully with her neighbors. She did, however, make numerous successful raids to free slaves held on plantations, and it was widely accepted that her efforts contributed to the escape of hundreds of slaves over her lifetime. Nanny was very adept at organizing plans to free slaves. For over 30 years, Nanny freed more than 800 slaves and helped them to resettle in the Maroon community. While Nanny lived, Nanny Town and the Windward Maroons thrived and multiplied. The British colonial administration became embarrassed and threatened by the successes of the Maroons. Plantation owners who were losing slaves and having equipment and crops burned by Maroon raiders demanded that the colonial authorities act. Hunting parties made up of British regular army soldiers, militiamen, and mercenaries, many from the free black community, scoured the Jamaican jungles. Nanny's cleverness in planning guerrilla warfare confused the British, and their accounts of the fights reflect the surprise and fear which the Maroon traps caused among them. Besides inspiring her people to ward off the troops, Nanny was also a type of chieftainess or wise woman of the village who passed down legends and encouraged the continuation of customs, music, and songs that had come from the people from Africa, which instilled in them confidence and pride. Queen Nanny was known by both the Maroons and the British settlers as an outstanding military leader who became in her lifetime and after a symbol of unity and strength for her people during times of crisis. She was particularly important to them in the fierce fight with the British during the First Maroon War from 1720 to 1739. Queen Nanny's skill in organizing the guerrilla warfare tactics carried out by the Eastern Maroons kept away the British troops who attempted to penetrate the mountains to overpower them. Nanny led her people with courage and inspired them to struggle to maintain that spirit of freedom and life of independence which was rightfully their inheritance. Nanny died in 1733 during one of the many and bloody engagements of the war. The war itself lasted until a truce was declared in 1739. Cudjoe, one of Nanny's brothers and a leader during the Maroon War, was the driving force behind the treaty. After Nanny's death, many of the Windward Maroons moved across the island to a more sparsely inhabited western side of Jamaica. Nanny Town was eventually captured by the British and destroyed in 1734. In 1975, Nanny's life and accomplishments were recognized by the government of Jamaica, and she was honored as a national hero and awarded the title of Right Excellent. Currently, there are only 7 such national heroes, and Nanny is the only woman. A modern portrait of Nanny, based on her description, appears on the Jamaican $500 note, the largest banknote in circulation in Jamaica. It is rightfully called a Nanny note. Until next time, if you like little-known history facts as I do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for watching.